Hello and welcome to Dark Cloud. I'm Chance, also known as Maras, and I'm gonna go to the continue menu so I can continue talking because it's gonna go back to that cutscene. Um, we just finished Mass Effect Andromeda, and I figured we'd go back to the game that I started originally playing on my channel with. Back a year before I started playing because of Mass Effect Andromeda. Before that, I tried to do some YouTube videos, and I played Dark Cloud with it. I was playing Dark Cloud, and then eventually stuff happened. I kind of said, I'm gonna stop. I'm not feeling it. I deleted all my videos, got rid of all the files, whatever. And so, whatever. And then E3 happened, saw that Andromeda was going to come out, and I was like, I want to play this game. I need to play this game. And I remembered back when I played Dark Cloud, I was like, I want to play Mass Effect on the channel, and I want to do that, blah, blah, blah. I want to play games on the channel with my computer, because I got my computer. And so I was like, okay, I played Mass Effect. It basically got me back into playing the game. And now I finished Andromeda. It was the game that kind of drove me to play games, and it's gone. So I figured I'd come play the game that I wanted to play originally on my channel, because, I had never finished it on the channel. This game was my favorite game as a kid. I would play it all the time. More so the second game I played, or at least the second game I actually beat. I never beat this game. I just played it all the time and never actually got to never actually beat it. When I was older, I actually got to the final boss, realized my gear wasn't good enough to beat him, and I was like, well, shit, now I have to go back and grind, and going back and grind in this game is easy, but it's not something you want to do. It's like something you want to do as you're progressing, because like getting a weapon from like level 1 to level 20 or that's an exaggeration, but getting a weapon level 1 level tier, I guess it's based in tiers. Getting a tier 1 weapon to a tier 7 weapon in this game, it's hard. So I quit. I got to the final boss, never beat it. I still haven't seen the ending to the game. I full-heartedly never looked it up. I was like, I'm gonna beat this game one day, and I want to see the ending. Apparently it ties kinda into the second game's intro, kinda. That's what I've heard, but I've never seen it. So we'll see it on the channel. Keep in mind that, like my Mass Effect series, some episodes I will mark as grind episodes, where I just grind, like I just do quests, or I'll call them grind episodes for this game, because they're not quests. Because the thing about this game is the dungeons are procedurally generated, meaning the loot in the dungeons are procedurally generated, meaning you may or may not get what you need, which means you might have to go through a dungeon level more than once, and which makes it tedious just to see me going into a dungeon, seeing, hey, is there anything? No. Okay. Check out another thing. All right. Is it okay? No. Check out another thing. Well, okay. So I'll have episodes where it might be like 30 to 40 minutes of just me going through the dungeon and just talking random stuff. Maybe I'll tell some D&D stories or some World of Warcraft stories or whatever. We'll see. But yeah, the thing about this game as well is there is no voice acting in this game. No voice acting in this game. So I'm gonna have to do some shitty ass voice acting where I just sound like an idiot. And if it sounds cringy, just think about it on my end, where I'm like speaking into the aether, doing shitty ass voices all alone in my room. So if it kind of sounds cringy, it's 10 times worse for me. Anyways, let's go to the start menu. I did test it out. I loaded. There is a save file where I played up to like I completed the first dungeon floor just to see if the video would record and do everything correct, which it did. So let's start. A book was found in some old ruins. All the scholars who decoded it. I'm already messing up. All the scholars who decoded it puzzled over the mystery of the book. A world with 2 moons illuminating the sky. The many dazzling adventures of a young boy. But whether or not this is a true story, do you believe the story woven in the book? Maybe it's a fantasy that existed only in a boy's heart. Let me tell you this story this ancient book tells of. A magical and magnificent fairy tale of a hero whose wondrous tales, whose names is not sure. This guy kind of looks like me, not like me, but like his hair color and such is similar to mine. But originally I said his name to be Miraz, and I kind of want to continue that tradition. But yeah, we'll do it. Make it simple. Simple. I've only had 2 characters in this entire channel have the name Miraz. Are you ready for a PS2 shit show of rendering? It's not bad. It's hilarious to see how far we've come from this to what we got now. Yeah, this is going to be very fast, by the way. You've gathered quite a few of them. I've had a hard time finding dancers with the right qualifications. I'm going to make a Smee voice. Look at them! Your dance of blood! Mixing blood of witches with that of humans is a key to breaking the spell. However, I do have some problems. In order to proceed in good material, I do need adequate... I'll see. I'll pay you the extra. That should solve your problem, huh? Yes, sir. Thank you. So when will it happen? Very soon, sir. Let us enjoy the ceremony till it's time. Yeah, the wrists of the characters are like snapping as they dance. I do believe these dancers, the male ones, become an enemy later on in the game, if I'm correct. Yeah. Sensual hip sway. I'm not sure if they're wearing masks or if those are their faces but painted. Just because, like, I don't, like, I've never actually seen these characters up close, and I've actually, I think they became an enemy. Black, sir, do you know the legend of the genie sealed in the urn? Of course. How much money do you think I put into acquiring this urn? I've been waiting for this for years, and its legendary power is mine. I think it's masks. I've seen them up close, but I've never actually paid attention. 400 years ago, the genie of darkness appeared in the east with all its evil power. The world was burnt away. What do you intend to do with such frightening powers in your hands? You'll see. Wow. Slight booty jiggle. By the way, I'm not like clicking on anything. This is just the cutscene that it forces. Like it just you're supposed to read all this, like as it. So is now is the time. Yes, sir. So it seems. This is a cutscene. You can't. Well, you can skip the cutscene, but you can't like skip the dialogue, and you can't slow down the dialogue. What? This is the genie, the dark genie? Well, it's quite different than I imagined. Ancient Dark Genie, this is it. Hey, who are you guys? Welcome back, Genie Darkness. I broke the seal and I released you, therefore I am your master. Oh, is that right? Whatever, fine. Yes, that's right. I haven't eaten in 400 years. Darn, I have to eat something. I need food. Food. Got you. Huh? What? Stop it! Help! Slurp. Delicious. The dark one. See, now I have control of the dialogue, so I could slow down. And then I lose control immediately after. There's not that many dialogue-heavy cutscenes, so I should be fine. It's just at the intro and then a few others where I have to just read them out right away. Hey, how are you today? Ross, it's already started. Come on, let's go. Ross, it's already started. Come on, let's go. See, I told you. You should have hurried. Come on, we're late. I'm a staff member this year, so I have to go. Sorry. Oh, she left you, Ross. Hurry up. Slurp. Iconic hero. With his doodle arms. I love this part. I love this. Like, the whole aesthetic of this game, I just love. It's not great graphics wise. I know they did they do have it on PlayStation 4. Oh yeah, Macho Man. This dance is my favorite. Watch. Come on, just do it. Old gaffer. But the whole, like, I heard it. They played. They made a I don't know if it's a remake or if it's just an emulation on PlayStation 4, and it might have been PS3, but I think it was PS4. And I was like, should I get it? Like, should I get a PlayStation just to play this game? I was really considering it, but now I'm not sure because, like, I'm not even sure the quality of that. Look at those insects squirming about. Start there. Oh, watch the screen tear. This is so bad. Close your eyes. It gets worse. I don't know why it's this only. It's like literally this one cutscene where it has this problem. Well, rest in peace, everybody. You're our best friend, Ross. Oh. At the angle we're going, we're just basically gonna die in each other's arms. Yep. That's the end of the game, guys. This is why it's my favorite, because you just die right away. It just ends the game. It's like, nope, you're done. Ring drops are falling on my head. Hi there. Can you hear me? Open your eyes. Wake up.
Hey,
Listen! I'm the Fairy King. I'm the entity that unites all of nature's spirits. Listen well, young one, something bad has happened. Men blinded by greed have revived a dark genie. This dark genie is terribly powerful. Its power is so great that it can destroy the entire world. You saw it with your own village being destroyed right before your eyes. Not just your village. In a flash, many villages and towns were destroyed. In one night, half of your world was annihilated. Yep. Everyone's fucking dead. We're dead too. He's just letting us know how everything happened before we die. It must be men from the east that performed the resurrection ceremony. Probably thinking to use its black demon power for war without realizing how frightening it is. It's darkness. Pure darkness itself long ago. It is darkness. Pure darkness itself. Long ago, the so-called Dark Genie almost destroyed the entire world. Its malevolence is so great that the bad thing... malevolence is so great. Is that great? The bad thing is that it has the same type of magical power as us, spirits. Unfortunately, we aren't powerful enough to destroy it. Young man, I see that you have strong will and that could withstand the evil power. And also a clear, kind heart. You might be able to fight against the darkness and it generates. I decided to stake our fate on you. Let me bless you with power. There. Surprised? It's called Ultimelia. It's a stone with magical power. I'm pretty sure that's how they pronounce it in the second game, Ultimelia. I guess we'll find out. It's a stone with magical power. Oh, don't look that way, boy. I'll explain now. It might get too bright for your eyes for a moment. Well, shit. Look at this barren wasteland. Do you know where this is? No simple empty lot. This was your village. But do not lose heart. As long as you have that stone, you can return it to its original form. You see, just before the village was destroyed by that genie, I saved the buildings and people by sealing them into spheres called Alta. It seems that the Alta were scattered around by its tremendous power, magic power. They're probably blown off into different places around the world. It probably thinks everything is destroyed. You must restore the world before it realizes what happened. Absorb that which I sealed into the Alta using the Ultimelia and bring them back. Then you'll be able to restore the world to its original form. You may even be able to create an even better world than before. You don't seem to be understanding anything I'm saying. Oh well, I'll give you another lesson when you acquire some Alta. Yeah. So long. Well, shit. Weird audio cue. Morass, can you hear them? You should be able to hear them. The voices of the wind, the voices of the trees, the voices of the animals, and the voices of the earth. They're all calling for your help. Morass, you'll probably meet and say goodbye to many people. In talking to these people, you may receive clues to defeating the darkness. Look for them. Now, Morass, your adventure will begin. First, go to the village chief's house. He'll show you where to go next. Naroon Village. Yep, this is the game. Dark Cloud. Dark Cloud was originally created as a kind of a response to The Legend of Zelda from Nintendo. PlayStation, or Sony, I guess, kind of wanted to have a popular series like that. And this game was popular to the people who played it. Everyone I've ever talked to who've played this game are like, I love this game. but like no one's heard of it, or people have heard of it but never played it. But who did hear of it and played it said that they loved it. But they only got 2 games, Dark Cloud and Dark Cloud 2, or Dark Chronicle for those who played a specific version of the game. And that's basically it. The developer said that they would love to make another game if people were interested, but I guess there hasn't been really much of a like draw so far. I don't know, but I love this game. Ross, you're alive. Seems like we're the only ones in the village that survived. I've never dreamt this had happened. One night and our village is gone. Can you believe this, Maras? I feel so helpless. I, the mayor of the village, can't do anything about it. What am I supposed to do now? Oh no. Oh, I'm sad. I'm sad too. I guess the only thing we can do is get help from the guardian of Narun village, Dran. Dran will not abandon us. He will help us for sure. I have a favor to ask, Maras. Go to Divine Beast Cave and tell Dran what happened. Divine Beast Cave is the cave outside town to your right-hand side. You've probably seen it before. I may be imagining things, but I sense something has changed about the cave. Be careful. Yeah, there's monsters in it. This is the cave key. Cave key acquired. I put things in your things you might need in your bag for you. Don't get carried away. If you get in trouble in there, come back and I'll get you some more supplies. Good luck. Let's grab a spiky bugs. Come out. So, the start button pauses, like legitimately pauses the game. So the premise of this game is you go into the dungeons and you have to have like gear with you before you go into a dungeon. So you have I don't know how to, I guess you can't, but you have a health meter there, a weapon meter, and a thirst meter. So the health meter you can restore by using food, and you have a thirst meter. The thirst meter is legitimate, you know, as long you can only stay in a dungeon so long before you start getting thirsty. So you need to drink water to restore that. So it's kind of like a thing of you can't just go into a dungeon without being prepared. So you have to get like your water, your food. You have to have your poison, like restoring, and repair powder to fix your weapons. You have to have your gear before you go in, kind of thing. And as you start going, as you start progressing, you start getting more and more money and better gear, and you get more HP, you get more thirst meters, so you could you could stay into dungeons longer. You could do more dungeons, like more floors of dungeons over and over. And I would explain more of the game, but the game's tutorial kind of explains it even more as we enter. Let's get into the Divine Beast Cave, shall we? Divine Beast Cave. B1. So like it's legitimate, like a dungeon crawl game, like where you have to go through dungeons and check out, see if everything's fine and dandy and whatnot. And it's every floor is randomized, so every single like basement, I think that's what B1 stands for, has like every time you go through it, it'll be different. So no two people technically will ever play the same floor as each other technically. So yeah, even the orbs you see there, the 1, 2, 3, 4, the 8 orbs there. Oh, there's an 8 over there. The 8 orbs, the items within those orbs are random, I'm pretty sure. So sometimes you'll get Like, sometimes you'll get the merchant trader right away. Sometimes you'll get them, like, later on. This time it's for real, Morales. From here on, you'll be put to the true test. First, conquer this wretched divine beast caves and find Dran's lair. That's your first goal. Since you're a beginner, I'll give you a lesson on how to fight in the dungeon. Gate key. First, to advance to the next floor in the dungeon, acquire a gate key for the door leading to the next floor. Each dungeon has a different gate key. For the Divine Beast Cave, it's Dran's Crest. Dran's Crest will be the gate key. The gate key is almost always carried by a monster in a dungeon. You must defeat the monsters to acquire the gate key. Since you can't tell which one has the key, you just have to defeat them all one by one. Next, I'll tell you how to return to the ground level rather than advancing to the floor below. To return to the ground level, mind connect with me, in other words, speak with your mind. Then, to do this, when you do this, I will transport your body to the ground level. Just select Leave Dungeon from the main menu. But be aware, if the monster's left on the floor, the Mind Connect won't work. It will be blocked by their evil energies. In such cases, use the item Escape Powder to get out on your own. The Norun village chief has lots of it, so be sure to get it before you go. You can also Mind Connect with me when you go through the gate to the next floor of a dungeon. When you re-enter the dungeon, you can start at the next new level, so you don't have to worry about losing progress. Next, it's on to the weapons. Be aware that weapons are breakable. The more you use a weapon, the more it wears and finally breaks. Broken weapons will disappear. To prevent weapons from breaking, use the item Repair Powder. It will restore their WHP, weapon HP. The longer you use a weapon by repairing it, the more magic it absorbs from monster and thusly becomes stronger. It is said when a weapon reaches its full strength, it can be changed into a more powerful form. Keep that in mind. Oh, I cast a special spell on the dagger you have so it'll never disappear. But the new weapons you get during the quest will disappear once they break, so be careful. Don't waste your hard work by letting a weapon break and disappear. Finally, important stuff. The sphere, Alta, where I protected and sealed the fragments of the world. If you see an Alta, don't hesitate to touch it. You can absorb the contents of the Alta into the Altamilia by touching it. When you return to the surface, you will be able to begin resembling these fragments of the world. Oops, today's lessons ran a little long. That's it for the lecture today. Now, Mirage, show me your true ability on this quest. So in summary, the weapon has a certain amount of HP. So this weapon has 48, and it has ABS, which is basically experience. They should have just put experience, but I guess they wanted it to be special. It has 32 ABS, so once I collect 32 ABS, the weapon will level up. Its attack will get better, its endurance will get better, its speed, and depending on whether or not it's a magic weapon, its MP will get better. And you could level up as much as you want. It just gets harder and harder to level up. And the thing is about the dagger, you could level up as much as you want, but once it breaks, it reverts back to this dagger. So it reverts back to a level 6, 30 endurance, 70 speed, 2 mana, blah 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 dagger. So grinding this dagger up to like max level is pointless because it never evolves, it never does anything. It's just there just in case you don't have a weapon. It's like the backup, my sword broke, might as well pull out the dagger. But if that happens, you're pretty much screwed. So this is the weapon that they give here. So in the dungeons, you may or may not encounter chests. They're like giant chests, and in the chest there may or may not be a new weapon for your character. So those weapons, as he said, if those break, they're gone for good. So like you could have it right here. Let's say you have a Gladius and you level it up to like level, 6, and then it breaks. You lose that level 6 Gladius. It's gone for good. So that's like That's what he means by like don't let a weapon break without without repairing it. Because in this game it's very brutal where you'll be like doing a dungeon and then your weapon breaks and you were just focusing on one weapon and you're only leveling up one weapon and then it broke and now you only have your dagger, which is like a shitty level 2 dagger. So that's what he was like talking about. I'm just gonna get used to playing the controls. So yeah, that's the point of the game. Is you essentially, it's a dungeon crawl where you go into a dungeon, kill monsters, get stronger, collect Alta, which is like the building blocks of the game. You get the building blocks of the game for the overworld, and then you build houses or structures on the surface with those building blocks, which gives you generally more loot or more upgrades or more whatever, so that you can do better in the dungeon crawl and so forth. You just constantly, that's basically what you do the whole game. Kill monsters, get loot, get Alta, build cities, come back down, do it over again. And that's basically the game. But it's fun. It's like the fighting aspects is pretty straightforward and alright. The building aspects is fun because when you get to the building aspects, which the old Fairy King will explain it a bit better than me, but you build the buildings and you get sometimes you could, like, you're trying to restore what was originally there, but sometimes like the villagers might request, oh, I kind of don't like this person, can I please be on like the opposite side of the village from them because I just don't like them. And so if you do that, they'll give you like a special like upgrade or a special weapon. And there's, I don't know if you could see it now. Yeah, you probably won't be able to see it here, but there's like a meter, and if you get that meter to 100, once you beat the dungeon of the zone, you get a bonus reward where where you just get a even greater upgrade than the one you get from completing like completing the villages. You'll see as we go. You build buildings. They have little tiny storylines. Like every little house has a little storyline. But as I said, each floor is random, and all the Alta are random. I believe the first floor might not be random. I think you always get the same thing for the first floor. But everything else is like, it has like a list. I think it's like I'm paying attention to. Now I'm gonna have to repair my weapon. There's too many enemies. So this is what you gotta do. I got lucky, I got to a spring, so I didn't need to drink water or eat bread. But that's like a constant, that's a constant thing of you gotta eat your bread, you gotta drink your water, you gotta upgrade your sword, which by the way you always want to do as soon as possible. Especially for the dagger. As I said, the dagger isn't really something you want to rely on, because it's like, it's your backup weapon, and it, like, you think, oh, you want to super upgrade your backup weapon because you don't want it to be shit. The thing is, no matter what you do with it, it's always going to be shit. I played this game so many times where I once tried to make the dagger like a level 15 weapon, or I don't even know the max of the levels. But like, I tried my best to make it like a super high level weapon, and in the end, it didn't change anything, because I think it ended up breaking. Like, it doesn't change anything because once it breaks, it's gone. and the experience to level it up gets higher and higher, so there's like no point. There's no point to upgrading the dagger. I mean, here in the first levels, you know, level it up as much as you can, but don't boost it. And what I mean by boosting is, eventually you'll see me get items called like wind crystals or stuff like that. I think attack up, defense, attack up, endurance up, magic up, speed up, and all that. These are items that you put on your weapon, and then when you level up, it adds a boost to those stats when you level up. So it's like, oh, cool, level up kind of thing. And then you don't want to do that for your daggers, basically what I'm trying to say. So this is what he was talking about, the king, when he said teleporting out of dungeons, because he's basically what they tried to do is basically try to explain game mechanics, but as a story. Basically what he meant is you could just, after a dungeon, you don't have to keep going down further and further. You could just leave if you wish. This is what he was trying to explain. It's like, if you need to leave, you can. You don't need to stay in a dungeon. More tutorial. I'm the old man. Seems like you finally came back with some Alta. Very well then, I shall teach you as I promised. Pieces sealed inside the Alta are released by touching the Alta with your left hand, where the power of the Altamilia resides. Buildings and people that were sucked into the Altamilia will be restored to their original form. Once you bring them back to the ground level, you can arrange them as you wish. By going back and forth between the dungeon and the ground level, you could restore the Earth to its original form. That's your mission, as the one who is granted the power of the Altamilia. Now, let us move on. Let's make it a bit technical. If you wanted to place buildings, etc., press the select button while walking to go into edit mode. Press the select button again to return to walking mode. In edit mode, you can reassemble buildings that have fallen apart and place them on the ground. Seeing is believing. Try it yourself. It might be faster than listening to my lecture. Oh yes, if you ever forget the things I teach you, use this. Manual acquired. Guide for using the Altamilia and other things. I wrote it for beginners like you. Manual could be selected from the main menu. Read it really carefully. Okay, I'll leave the world's reconstruction to you. I'll be watching. So long. So this is the game. I'm gonna save. Gonna replace my test run save, and then I'll have a save here as a backup, just in case. You never know. So this is what he's talking about. Is you could come up here, and you press select, and you get to edit mode, where you could build the village and whatnot. This is what I meant by there's like a percentage, like you have a collection which is getting all the Altamilia complete. I don't know why that has a bit, because I have nothing on the map, but I guess it's because of the chief's house, 17%, and request. So if you get all these to 100, you get a special reward for doing it. And I'm not going to use a guide, so I'm going to try to do all this by memory and try to get it built by memory. If I remember correctly, Macho likes to be near the Divine Beast cave because he likes to train in it or something like that. Yeah, we'll put him there. That might be close. Actually, put him. Yeah, I'm trying to get the border down. Put him here. So Macho's house. Put him here. He's within 2 squares of the object. I think it's based on 3 squares. From a static, not static. Game mechanic wise, I think it's 3 squares away. But let's just put him 2 just in case. And then we'll put Macho in there because it's his house. So you basically, that's how you restore people to the world. You can't just put them around, you have to have their house before you could restore them to the world. And there's also this like day and night cycle, which I think doesn't change much, except for the music. And when you get houses and you start assembling them, little chests will appear, will give you adventuring supplies. Macho. Ah, Ross, I missed you, man. Smile brightens my day. Really brightens my day. Hello. If you see my big bro, tell him you didn't see me, okay? I'm counting on it. How should I build Naroon? Fighting is what a man should live for. It's basically the fact of life, right? So what he means by that is he wants to be near the cave, because he wants to fight monsters. What will happen when it's done? You should ask my big bro. So, the question, what will happen when it's done, is basically, every house is incomplete. Every house is incomplete, and basically if you fill all the slots of a house, it will be complete, and you get a reward. So you could actually ask the NPCs, what will happen if I complete your house? And sometimes they'll be like, oh, I have something for you, or, you know, they'll basically give you an idea. Tell me how to rebuild your house. Look, don't forget to expand my room, and the barbell, put that outside. So then you have to actually ask your the people you're helping how to build their house. Unfortunately, I don't have any. I don't have any items to help restore his room right now, as I believe it's all randomly generated. So, yeah. So it's nice to look around and explore every time you get out of a dungeon, because sometimes, like, there might be a chest or something that unlocks that gives you either adventuring supplies or resources like HP upgrades, water upgrades, weapon upgrades, defense upgrades, stuff like that. But it's always nice to check out everything, and always keep your gear at a put it like that. Okay. Up to him. Now our only hope is Dran. Oh wait, no. Now our only hope is Dran. Dran has always watched over us. I'm sure Dran has watched us this time too and will help us. But really, this time, even Dran's windmill, where Dran's magic power dwells, is destroyed. This looks like to be no easy task. I put some items you'll be needing in your bag. Be careful, okay? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Always make sure to have repair powder. So this is the gist of the game. Right now, at least. Because once you get the shopkeep, which I think I'll put them here, then you have to start buying and selling items. Right now it's a freebie from the mayor. But the gist of the game is you go down, you complete a floor, gather as much alta you can, come back, restore your supplies with the mayor, talk to whoever you may have unlocked, and then repeat. But we'll do the rest in the next episode. So, I'd like to thank you all for watching. I hope you stick around for our next episode recording session thingy, and I shall see you then. Bye-bye!